If you missed the PlayStation Showcase earlier this, yesterday, actually, they showcased some of the open world traversal stuff. And one of the things they showed off was their new fast travel system that I didn't even realize was a fast travel system at first because of how insane it is. Okay, I'm about to show you how this works. Look at this. Okay, so they have the map pulled up and they're going to show kind of how this works, and you're gonna see how quick this is. Okay, this is real time in gameplay how it works. Okay, watch.
Which even provides more rewards and unlocks our brand new fast travel system. As you can see,
what? let me take that back. Okay, watch this
system, which even provides more rewards and unlocks our brand new fast travel system. As you can see here, the PlayStation 5 and its SSD means you can move across the city with very little downtime.
Like what? it's breaking my brain, dude. I guess we should just watch this whole thing, right? So this was kind of the keystone announcement and showed thing at the Sony event yesterday, in addition to one other that we'll touch on. Baby steps, we'll get there. But they showed off some of the world building and it tried to address one of the biggest concerns. And this is something that I myself have talked about before, much to the chagrin of Spider-Man fans. But basically, the concern is, how do you make a game like Spider-Man 2 feel unique when the world is a character in and of itself? New York is a character in these Spider-Man games. So how do you make the same New York feel different and exciting enough that it can justify being explored all over again in another game? And that's what they're trying to address here. And it's like I said, if anybody could figure it out, it would be Insomniac. These guys are actual wizards. And this video is pretty much entirely made to address that concern. And I think they address it pretty well. So what did we learn?
This is Brian Intihar, Senior Creative Director at Insomniac Games. Thank you for all of your amazing feedback to our demo at the showcase earlier this year. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is filled with an amazing story and story missions. But today I'm here to provide you with a first look at how the open world experience is evolving and how the game is built to take full advantage of the PlayStation 5. The first thing you'll notice is that our city has nearly doubled in size with the addition of two iconic New York boroughs, Queens and Brooklyn. And we've introduced the web wings, an entirely new mechanic that, when combined with web swinging, allows you to traverse the city in a whole new way and at faster speeds than ever before.
So first thing is they've changed how you explore the city and traverse it. That is in and of itself a great way to refresh the exploration of something we've already seen before, just by changing the way you engage with it. So I think that that's cool. One of the things that Todd, for example, with Starfield said was a reason why they didn't give players vehicles is because when you move too quickly through a map, you often overlook details and you don't notice things and you miss a lot of the careful work that's gone into designing these levels. And to a certain extent, I think that can be true, like AC Odyssey and Valhalla. Sorry.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
In those games, if you're running really quickly on your horse, just galloping straight past everything, you certainly miss a lot of the details in world building. But in the case of like Spider-Man, I think Spider-Man is a great counterexample where you can travel very quickly through the city and you're still taking in all of the details. It's just you're traveling really quickly. Yeah, I don't know how it works, but somehow Spider-Man has managed to pull it off.
Whether it's the neighborhood backdrop of Queens or the fireworks that light up the sky over Coney Island, exploring these areas will feel much different than the towering skyscrapers of Manhattan, while also delivering memorable locales like Peter Parker's old stomping grounds in Midtown High and Miles Morales' current place of learning, Brooklyn Visions Academy.
Hey Miles, what's up?
Speaking of our heroes, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 will introduce the ability to switch between the two wall crawlers in the open world, and thanks to the power.
Look how seamless that was, dude. It's like GTA 5 on steroids. If you guys didn't play GTA 5 back in the day on like the 360 and PS3, in order to swap between the characters, it was like a solid maybe 10, 20 seconds. Maybe I just am misremembering it and it was faster or longer than that, but it was like a good long while. You could set the controller down, kind of stretch a little bit, get some blood flowing and doing good, and then you get back in the game, swapping to Trevor or whoever you're swapping to. But this is just like near instant. They go from sitting in one spot in the city. There's even a plane flying by. That's great. And then they pretty much instantaneously, after a quick fade to black, which I can forgive in this case, straight to Peter. It's crazy.
Spider-Man 2 will introduce the ability to switch between the two wall crawlers in the open world. And thanks to the power of the PlayStation 5, you can make that switch almost instantly. Delivering a bigger city and playing as not one, but two spider heroes were big goals for Marvel Spider-Man 2. But this time around, it was equally important to provide a greater sense of exploration and discovery.
I mean, it also puts the Miles Morales DLC slash standalone game into perspective, because they knew for this game they wanted to have both of them playable with their own move sets, their own kind of style of combat, and they could just spend like an extra year developing all that, or they could make their own Miles Morales game, sell that, and that helped and justified all the development and getting Miles Morales' stuff working, and then merge that with the stuff for the regular like Peter Parker Spider-Man, and use them both. Like it's just a no-brainer. It's the same thing with like when they remaster a lot of games, often it's just used as an excuse to train the team in upgrading these engines and getting them working. Like the Skyrim Anniversary Edition was their way of preparing for the next generation of consoles, and then they just decided to sell it to people, and it ended up being really successful. So I think Miles Morales was just another stepping stone to get to this, and now it makes a lot of sense, of course.
As you progress through the main story, a number of new activities and storylines will become available. The majority of those will now be represented by visual cues in the world that grab your attention, such as a flock of Kraven's Talon drones circling a building, a mysterious symbol projected into the sky, or even an unfamiliar spider-bot ping emitting from one of the rooftops. Many activities, like the Hunter's cloaked blinds that overlook the Big Apple, lead to even greater challenges yet yield worthy rewards and new information about Marvel's greatest hunter, Kraven. Others will lead to a climactic showdown with Marvel villains not yet seen in this Spider-Man universe.
Thank God it's climactic. I love a good climax as much as the next guy. Oh, man. And Dum Dum, you calm down right there. Thank you for the month of support. Much love. Appreciate you.
The Spider Heroes have new AR tech in the lenses of their masks, providing a quick glimpse of activities already discovered, or helping locate new ones yet to be revealed. You can always refer to the upgraded Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man app to quickly track nearby areas of interest.
Okay, so that's interesting. So they show this.
To the upgraded Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
So you can see that. Let me move my camera so you can see it. In this case, Miles is the only character that can take on the Homecoming mission, but the rooftop fireworks can be played by either Peter or Miles. So then you can pick which one you want to engage with, which is kind of cool. So again, very similar to GTA 5. You're going to be picking which of these you want to play with, and maybe you have a main, but they are going to occasionally encourage you to use one over the other for certain missions for narrative purposes. So that's kind of cool.
App to quickly track nearby areas of interest. The app will also include incoming requests from those who call Marvel's New York home. Some will ask for either Spider Hero to help, while others, like the students of Brooklyn Visions calling upon Miles, will require you to put on the mask of a specific hero. All these activities, including crimes you stop from the game's various enemy factions, also now feed into the new District Progress system, which even provides more rewards.
It's basically AC Syndicate. It's basically Assassin's Creed Syndicate, let's be honest, okay? That's what it is.
And unlocks our brand new fast travel system. As you can see here, the PlayStation 5 and its SSD means you can move across the city with very little downtime.
Like, again, it's just so crazy to me how quick that is. It's outrageous. Like, they just pull up the map, you hold down, I'm like triangle, it looks like. It fills the bar, and then you're in it. Like, it's ridiculous.
System, which even provides more rewards and unlocks our brand new fast travel system. As you can see here, the PlayStation 5 and its SSD means you can move across the city with very little downtime. Finally, the more city you explore and the more activities you complete, the more ways you'll be able to customize your Spider Hero. This includes mastering additional combat abilities and traversal skills, acquiring and improving gadgets, upgrading through the new suit tech system, and of course, unlocking additional spider suits. And we're talking lots and lots of suits. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 will feature over 65 suits from the comics, movies, and multiple original designs. And thanks to the all-new suit style system, you'll now have more than 200 different ways to outfit your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. On behalf of Insomniac Games, we couldn't be more excited about what this expanded city has to offer and all the new ways you'll experience Marvel's New York. We look forward to seeing you swinging around in Marvel Spider-Man 2 when it launches October 20th, only on PlayStation 5.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Now, you might be wondering, Luke, pray tell, what are the restrictions here? Like, to achieve that load time, surely they are going to be rendering at 30 FPS max at like 720p, upscaled with FSR2 or some crap. Surely not. They have confirmed that they offer a 4K 30 FPS fidelity mode. They also offer a 40 FPS performance mode, and then another performance mode targeting 60 FPS. Every mode also offers 120 hertz and variable refresh rate support if your TV supports it. That's something you got to check with your particular panel about. And every mode has ray tracing turned on. Now, to be clear, this is not like full crazy ray tracing like in Cyberpunk 2077. What they did, I believe, in Spider-Man Miles Morales is with ray tracing, they were doing quarter resolution ray tracing with some tricks to like checkerboard it up for reflections. So it's not the same as full-blooded ray tracing, but still will make things look a lot better than regular like screen space reflections and things. So pretty insane. Again, like Insomniac, they're just wizards. But this is like what I think we're going to start to see from most of these Sony first-party studios, whether it's Naughty Dog, Insomniac, Sony Santa Monica. You're going to start to see a lot of games like this with just ridiculous performance and things that nobody else is touching. And it's because there are benefits to only developing for one specific device. Okay, let's see IGN's impressions of Spider-Man after playing it.
Marvel's Spider-Man 2 takes everything Insomniac learned from its previous two Spider-Man games and finds new ways to raise the bar of superhero game design. No frame is left untouched. No character model is left with subpar lighting. Simply put, after playing for 3 hours, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 looks set to continue Insomniac's winning streak.
Hey Doc, ready for your annual physical?
Did he just say he was gonna like finger the lizard? Sorry, everybody. Sorry. I'll shut up now. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's the new storyline, is that Peter Parker is learning how to give prostate exams. I have no idea.
His college essay, but spider business keeps distracting him from the task at hand.
Craven. How many more people are on this guy's list?
Besides the personal battles being fought by Peter and Miles, there are also other factors at play that will push them further to the edge. Parker has donned the symbiote suit known as Venom, and it's affecting his personality in ways he doesn't realize.
We're going to kill the world.
And Craven is doing everything he can to upset the peace by attacking Peter and forcing Dr. Connors to transform into an even more powerful version of his alter ego, the Lizard. The Dr. Connors storyline is particularly bittersweet, as you're really hunting down a father who wants nothing more than to return to his family, but now he'll be doing so with a few Spider-Man and Craven-inflicted injuries. This fight,
cool. He cut off his tail. You see the tail flowing or flying down behind him.
Particularly bittersweet, as you're really hunting down a father who wants
Watch
nothing
this.
more than to return
See?
to his family,
Tail's off.
but now he'll be doing so with a few Spider-Man and Craven-inflicted
It's
injuries.
okay, it can regrow.
This fight will actually take you across a large portion of New York City that Insomniac boasts is 2 times larger than the previous games. Taking full advantage of the PS5, Spider-Man 2 will allow you to travel across the city faster than ever, not only because of the zippy new web-slinging animations, but also because of the web wings that you can access at any time with the press of the triangle button. Web wings are a lot of fun to use versus swinging, but they will lose momentum over time, so you will need to use your webs unless you're in a wind tunnel. The wind tunnels will let you go to specific places in the city extremely fast by flying incredibly quickly to that destination on the air currents.
What's interesting to me is, like, you guys remember the demo that they showed off back before the PS5 had fully released, and they showed like a clip of them with the New York that they had built for Spider-Man, and they just moved the camera through it super quickly. I wonder if I can find it. Yeah, look at this. This was it. This is what I'm thinking of. So this was them showing the under development version on the PS4 Pro versus the PS5, showing different loading times and stuff in the game. And then they're going to show them like zipping through the city on the PS4 Pro version of the game, and then what the PS5 is able to do. So like PS4 Pro can't keep up with it, keeps chugging, has to load in sections, just not fast enough. And then they show the PS5 Pro, or PS5 rather, doing it effortlessly because of the SSD. And I think that like this little demo, they were like, see, we can get this working. Look how fastly you can travel. That's ridiculous. And they're like, how do we put that into the game? How do we make that something you can do? And the wind tunnels are how they did it.
But in addition to all these traversal options, Insomniac showed that you can also simply swap to Peter or Miles on the fly instantaneously, a la swapping between Trevor, Franklin, and Michael in Grand Theft Auto 5.
Marvel's Spider-Man 2 will introduce the ability to switch between the two wall crawlers in the open world. And, thanks to the power of the PlayStation 5, you can make that switch almost instantly.
I had the opportunity to ask the Insomniac team about how the PS5 SSD allowed them to accomplish instant travel and faster web swinging. Mike Fitzgerald, Core Technology Director at Insomniac, clarified a few other details, including the fact that the slingshots where Peter or Miles will pull back on two extended webs and catapult themselves forward allows Spider-Man to travel 3 times faster than in the first game. And that characters are more detailed and lifelike that help them tell better, more nuanced stories. Insomniac also noted that the DualSense controller is being used in some unique ways, like a minigame that we got to play in the reactor that will force you to pull the triggers with just enough pressure to move on to the next segment. And they outlined that the audio team took the time to develop the soundscapes for missions so that 3D audio can be fully utilized. Ambisonics and positional audio were used for objects in the scene, making for a more realistic audio experience, making for clearer indications of the player versus a target location.
I'm the only one.
More notably on the graphics side of things, Spider-Man 2 will only have 2 visual modes, visual and performance. The third mode was removed because no matter which you choose, ray tracing will be turned on by default. The baseline for performance mode will be what was previously referred to as performance ray tracing mode, with a better frame rate and resolution simply because the PS5 can handle it. Fitzgerald clarifies, there's no mode in this game that has the ray tracing turned off because there's really no need for it. We figured out how to deliver what is the right Spider-Man picture and visuals, and we want to make sure every player is seeing that.
Touche. I mean, we'll see. I think it was Star Wars Jedi Survivor had ray tracing on all the time, and it led to some weird things because they had to pretty much rely on FSR2 to upscale it to make it look decent. But in this game, it doesn't seem like those same issues are present, so it's probably just Insomniac magic, but we'll see.
Visuals of Spider-Man 2 are impressive. The character models are more expressive when delivering their lines, resulting in more believable performances from the actors that will in turn do a better job of pulling at your heartstrings. The ray-traced reflections add more depth and realism to the world. Breakable environmental additions make it feel like you've succeeded in unleashing havoc in an area after a devastating combo. But my favorite improvement in Spider-Man 2 is the heavily reworked combat. Now, both Peter and Miles have a wide array of abilities and gadgets at their disposal, but more on that in a moment.
What do you guys think the odds are that there's going to be a little nod to Spider-Man 3 in this with the Venom suit? Do you think that there's going to be like the whole dancing down the street, you know, with Tobey Maguire doing finger guns and stuff? Do you think that's going to be in this? If it's not, I'm actually going to be disappointed. Like, no joke, I will actually be a little bummed if that's not. If there's not even just like a little nod to it. Yeah, the Black Raimi suit is in it, so it's not like they're ignoring that. But there's got to be some little nod, right? There's got to be. Maybe a Bully Maguire suit. Yeah, that would be great.
Well,
with like the weird bangs. Remember, like, they're like, how do we make him look dark and brooding? Let's give him bangs. Dude, the Spider-Man 3 will go down in history as one of the weirdest movies of all time, but it's so good.
I was exploring in the open world. There were several different mission types to see, meaning that
Yeah, exactly, just like that one. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
yet again, we will have no shortage of side missions to get lost in. Personally, I will always favor the combat arenas, and I spent so much time enjoying them that I lost track of time and never got to experience the aforementioned lizard boss fight for myself. I was too busy trying to perfect my combat skills in the arena, gawking at the ray-traced reflections on everything, staring in awe at the sheer amount of traffic, pedestrians, and puddles and everything.
That's funny. So bro didn't even get to take on the boss fight. When I went to that Ubisoft, or attended that Ubisoft play test for, let's see, at that one there, for AC Mirage, it was funny because they told me like 15 times, you need to hurry. You need to make sure you're working your way through this, because if you don't, you're not going to get to see the black box mission and you're going to miss out on it. It's going to be really lame. So they're like, you got to make sure you're hurrying and keeping good time. And then this guy's just like, I forgot. I'm sorry. I forgot. I forgot about it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't even know, like, dude, you've been assigned by IGN to play this and then you just totally missed the boss fight at the end of it. Like, what? I mean, I would think that that would be like a problem, right? Did he think that they were just capping? Did he think like, no way, don't let me finish? They're gonna let me finish. I'm gonna do all of this first. Maybe it's just crazy to me that he would potentially like miss all that. That's crazy. Okay, there we go. I think that works. Okay, back to it.
Every scene, or stopping an assault in progress as it popped up on the mini-map. That was the best part. New York is covered in cool things to do as Spider-Man, and while I could have pursued the main storyline with my limited time, I was just having too much fun doing all the other little things that pulled my attention away.
Yeah, imagine the call with his boss. Like, okay, how did the Spider-Man playtest go? Oh, it was really good. I had a great time. Awesome. You got all the footage, the main story, everything, because we got to cover that. Well, not really. I didn't get to finish it. I didn't get to do the boss fight, but I was having a really good time. You didn't finish the storyline that they gave you access to, so we don't have footage of the final boss fight that like the entire demo was built around. No sir, no, we don't have footage of that, but I was having a really good time. Hello? Dude, I would have killed to have heard that. That would have been so funny.
Insomniac also
Yeah, Sony gave him B-roll footage, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, but surely that must have been an awkward phone call. Like, if I sent somebody to play on my behalf and I found out that they didn't finish the demo because they were dicking around doing something else, I'd be like, okay, you're not going to one of those events again. Like, it's so stupid. Oh, but man, I wonder if GameSpot recognizes Miles now has even more exaggerated swagger. That's the question, my friend. That's the real question. And Manny, thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate you. Yeah, I got footage of me trying this one combo over and over and over again. But don't worry, I eventually got it.
also noted that there will be missions that only Miles or Peter can complete, so it sounds like my quest to clear the map is going to be filled with variety. But to dive into combat a bit more, the enemy density is really ramped up and will sometimes offer you a bit more of a challenge than you may expect. In Spider-Man, you could maybe get away with using your main attacks, but in Spider-Man 2, I found that more often than not, I absolutely needed to use my Venom abilities and gadgets in the combat sections. The one small critique I have is that the new not dodgeable parry indicator color is red, and that's the same color as other things you need to dodge, like a bullet from a rooftop sniper. It took a bit of getting used to, but by the end of my demo window, I was parrying and unleashing my gadgets. And
I agree. They need to change the color, maybe like a nice soft taupe. That could work. Or maybe like a nice caramel Claire or something. I don't know. There's ways to do it. There's ways to do it. I don't know. One thing I will say about the original Spider-Man is that some of the combat encounters did start to get tedious by the end of the game. It was like, okay, another wave of enemies. Here we go. So if there's like more variability in them and more gadgets and stuff to use, I'd be down for that. But hearing that it's even more dense and it's just waves of enemies coming at you, that's kind of disappointing to me. Maybe it's just the section they played, but I like the bigger, like more elaborate boss encounters and stuff. But again, it might just be the section they played, because after all, we know they didn't get to do the boss fight, so it's okay. But he was having fun though.
Venom abilities with ease.
Look, what the hell is taupe? Google it. It's a color.
And before getting into combat, if you're still
Whatever you're expecting, you could not in a billion years expect what you're going to see when you look up taupe. It will shock you to your core.
undetected, you can use web lines to traverse a battlefield, and I love the layer this adds as you're taking out enemies in the stage.
Never saw it coming.
Gadget-wise, we only had access to the web grabber, which we've seen before, and upshot, which would attack opponents with bursts of electricity. Miles also had access to venom abilities like chain lightning, power overwhelming, or the venom smash jolt. Those attacks and gadgets are very easy to execute by simply holding L1 for venom abilities or R1 for fast gadget access, and that makes combat incredibly fluid. It will also force players to pick and choose the strongest combinations of 8 to pair together as you patrol the streets of Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Queens.
All right.
We also got a look at the symbiote surge. Basically, Peter goes into rage mode a la God of War and wrecks everything in the vicinity. There's a cooldown on it, just like rage mode in God of War, so after you've attacked everybody for a little bit, the timer will wear out and you'll have to rely on your core abilities. The cherry on top of an already impressive gameplay session was when they let us get a sneak peek at some of the new costumes that Peter and Miles will be able to wear when web slinging around the city. In total, Insomniac says there are 65 suits to unlock, and that each has different variations, bringing the grand total to 200 different combinations you can wear. In the build, we saw Miles had a 2099, 10th anniversary, Borakua, an encoded suit, while Peter had the classic black suit, web black suit from the Sam Raimi films, Secret Wars Civil War suit, and
What the hell is Borakua? What is that? To me, it just sounds like somebody with a speech impediment trying to say Barracuda. What is it? I don't have any idea.
a punkalyptic suit.
A punkalyptic. I'm sorry, that's funny. That's funny. A punkalyptic. He gets a mohawk. Wow. Tokusatsu? That's kind of cool. Biomechanical suit. I kind of like that one. The Red Spectre. Okay. Agimat. Orantia. 25th century suit. That's trippy. Stone monkey suit. What the hell is a stone monkey suit? Are these just from comic books I've never heard of? I don't know. I'm not up to date with my Spider-Man outfits.
Available for wearing. And for the suit tech upgrades, your classic health, damage, focus, and traversal perks were available.
I know these are his boots, but it just kind of reminds me of socks. It just makes me think like, upgrade your socks for better traction or more cushioning.
And for the suit tech upgrades, your classic health, damage, focus, and traversal perks were available, with the latter option focusing on things like web speed with your web wings. I had high hopes for Spider-Man 2, and this preview did nothing to stifle my optimism. I cannot wait to see what the rest of Spider-Man 2 has in store. For our final thoughts, swing on back to IGN when Spider-Man 2 launches this October.
Yeah, it looks really good. And I want to address something. I saw somebody in the comments. They were like, Luke, why aren't you being so skeptical with Spider-Man? Like, all skepticism means, as I've said a bajillion times, is not being convinced of a proposition until there's sufficient evidence to be convinced of that proposition. So if the proposition is this game is worth being excited for, or this game is going to be good, or this game is worth pre-order, whatever the question is, all of the evidence kind of comes after that question is asked, and it depends on what we're actually discussing. With something like Starfield, questions like, will it perform well? Will it be technologically on par with other open world games? Those are questions that are very valid when you look at it coming from Bethesda Game Studios. If it was coming from Rockstar, there would be very little question about its technological prowess. Of course, it's going to be phenomenal because that's what Rockstar always is able to pull off. Or in the case of Spider-Man, of course, Insomniac is going to be able to pull off some crazy, high-polished, well-refined, high-velocity, web-swinging action because they've demonstrated time and time again that they can do that. So it's much more reasonable to me to be excited for something like Spider-Man 2 than for something from an unknown studio that you've never seen before, like with Hogwarts Legacy, where it's like, yeah, it's a team that previously worked on Cars 3, Driven to Win. That was their last project. They ended up surprising a lot of us, and I'm very glad that they did. It still had some quirks and issues, but I thought that was wildly impressive coming from that studio. And in the case of Spider-Man 2, we're talking about one of the most accomplished studios in the industry. So of course, I think it's reasonable to look at this and get excited for it because everything they've shown looks really, really good. There is very little reason to doubt that they'll be able to pull it off.
He took my thing.